So behind me you may see a typical robot vacuum cleaner. Actually what you're looking at is 7,000 PA of hurricane level suction. This will destroy messes that will choke most robot cleaners. And with mopping functionality and 90-day self-emptying, all at a budget price point, is the UNINELL UR3 actually able to live up to its claims? Well, let's get into it. Hey folks, I'm Simon here from Simon's Reviews. Today we're taking a look at the UNINELL UR3. We're going to be reviewing it, putting it through its paces and seeing if it's going to be the right choice for your home. And for disclosure, they did send this to me in exchange for sharing some honest thoughts with you. So let's get into it. The intention of UNINELL is to bring you premium flagship specs such as the 3.5 litre self-emptying base and that powerful 7,000 PA of suction, but at a budget price. Now, because this is trying to be a little more accessible, it is not going to be absolutely flawless. There are a few things I wish could have been done a little better, but we'll talk about those as we get deeper into the review. But getting quickly through the unboxing, which is a really simple experience, and setup required here is absolutely minimal. Just take the base station, plug that in, and then you can just connect the robot itself to the base station and it will start charging. Although mine did come with about 60% battery charge straight out of the box. You can also connect this to the Smart Life app on your phone as well, but it does also come with a remote control and is compatible with voice assistance. So you've got a lot of options here to control this robot, and it does feel to be a good quality build. This is something that did surprise me. Again, for the accessible price point, sometimes things can feel a little bit flimsy, a little bit cheap. That is not the case here at all. The plastic build is clearly well made, well designed, and yeah, it's got some oomph to it. The anti-hair tangle brush in particular, I think, is a great fit for this model, and the wheels are going to be able to maneuver this over all of your different floor types, whether thick carpet or hard floors, which honestly is what we mostly have in the downstairs of our home. Now, the dock has been rated for up to 90 days of self-emptying, but as you can see, it isn't huge. The footprint here is minimal, so yeah, I'm a big fan of that actually. And 90 days means you'll be changing the bag in this only up to about 4 times a year. And the great thing is, along with the bag that's been installed, a second spare dust bag is also included in the box as well. If you do have pets, then this has you covered. Again, thanks to that tangle-free roller brush. And that is also really easy to pop out as need be. And it does come with a little tool in the box so that you can remove any hair that has wrapped itself around. So yeah, you can be good to go in about 5-10 seconds once you do need to go through that process. The remote control, also a rare thing to be seen with these robot vacuum cleaners, especially at this price point, and it has a whole bunch of features on it. But if you just want to start a quick clean, then yeah, just go ahead, hit the auto button, and the robot will do that for you without even needing to open the phone app. But also for people that don't want to use technology such as a phone app, you don't need to here. So that's great. Now, a lot of the old school robot vacuum cleaners use what I call the bump and go models. So they have the bumper on the front, as this model does as well. And that will effectively just allow them to keep bumping into the walls, into furniture, into objects, and that's what will allow them to actually see what's going on throughout their surroundings. But actually, the UR3 does one better because it does have LiDAR implementation. So that's what this little section is up here on the top. My daughter calls this a hat, which, yeah, it kind of does look a little bit like a hat. But this is a little more performative than a hat. This turret uses lasers to detect the environment. And actually, this bumper system is barely used in my experience. And it also means that mapping your room, which, by the way, when you first turn this on, it will map for the first time use the areas that it has access to. It is done so much more quickly than having to go around the entire edge of the space, bumping into everything as it does so. You don't need to worry about that. It mapped our whole downstairs in less than 10 minutes. And once that map has been completed, it can be saved so that every time from then on that you use the robot vacuum cleaner, it will get straight into the cleaning process. Although you do still have a lot of options at your fingertips in the areas you do want to clean for a completed map. For example, you can set up no-go zones, so really easy to do within the app. But along with using auto clean, you could instead choose to use specific room cleaning or zone cleaning. So on room cleaning, really easy. On the mapped rooms, just tap the rooms that you want the robot to clean and it will skip out the rooms that you do not select and just get straight on with the job at hand. Similarly with the zone cleaning, really like that, gives you a little bit more specificity. So rather than just selecting an entire room, you can actually draw zones directly onto the map using the expandable boxes and the robot will stick to cleaning those areas. Yes, these are features we have seen in other robot vacuum cleaners, but so often we're talking about models that are £800 plus, even over £1,000 or £1,500. To have all of these features within the app at this price point is definitely something that can't be taken for granted. And the great thing with storing the map as well is it can do so up to 5 times. You can have 5 maps saved on this robot, meaning, for example, if you have, I don't know, multiple floors in your home, then you can get a map saved for each floor. You haven't got to keep going through that remapping process each time you take the vacuum upstairs. But one of the greatest aspects of this robot vacuum has to be the suction power. 2000 PA, maybe up to 4000 PA. That is also common with a cheaper priced robot model. But here UNINELL are giving us up to 7000 PA of hurricane suction. And that's a lot of suction. So just bear in mind you won't always need that level of power. The great thing is, again, within the app, you can set what you do need really quickly with a couple of clicks of the screen, and you can set this onto that max turbo boost, or you can just bring it down to standard suction or even eco suction. And not only is that going to do the job in most cases, but it is going to extend your battery life somewhat remarkably as well. But if the robot is going to be moving from hard floor surfaces over into carpeted surfaces or carpeted rugs, then it has you covered because it will automatically enable the auto carpet boost function. This will rev the engine up higher, give it that little bit more power that it needs to give a nice deep clean into the carpet. Again, it will do all that on its own. You don't need to interfere with it. Just turn it on, enable the clean, let it do its thing. And we do have a few fairly thick rugs scattered throughout the place, and I've got to say the UR3 does a great job at really digging out dust that's got buried into those carpet fibres. Now, while this is absolutely going to do a grand job at navigating around obstacles such as furniture, tables, settees, sofas, chairs, no problem there whatsoever. It's not using some kind of intense AI LiDAR system that some really higher end robot models do. So this is just one of the things you do need to be aware of. The laser system here is a huge improvement over the standard bump and go mapping system, but things like little cables, smaller objects on the floor, it's probably not going to detect those. So just bear that in mind. Make sure the floor is cleared of those smaller obstacles before engaging the cleaning system. And I do say cleaning, not just vacuuming, because this is a 2-in-1. Along with the ability to have that suction, it also has mopping capabilities. And the great thing is you can do both at the same time. You don't have to use the mopping. Obviously, if you're going to be working with carpet, then you're not going to want to use that feature for those floors. But when you do want to use it on those harder floors, it is going to do a fine job. What I will say is the mop is not going to be something that you're going to use to get out deep stains. That's something you're going to have to put some elbow grease in, unfortunately. But for just a general freshen up of the floor, you know, maybe do what we do, which is just put down some floor cleaner directly onto the floor itself. Turn the mop function on the robot and it will do a fantastic job at just making sure that the floors are in tip-top condition. Using the mop is dead easy as well. All you need to do is pop the dustbin out of the back. There's a reservoir separate built into the same section, and just fill some water into there. Pop it back under with the mop pad, of course. Pop it back into the robot vacuum cleaner, and then when you turn on your cleaning mode, it will automatically vacuum as well as mop at the same time. Now, if you've got a larger floor plan, and especially if you're using the higher suction modes, there's a strong chance the vacuum is going to need to charge up mid-clean. Don't worry about that. You can still leave it alone to do its thing. As the battery starts to run low, it will automatically return itself to the dock, get itself charged up, and then crack on continuing with the clean. So if you're out for the day, you don't need to worry about charging this thing, it will do it all for you. In terms of battery life, you can expect around 3 hours or 180 minutes when using this on the lower settings. Obviously, if you're going to be using some of the higher suction modes, then you can expect that to be reduced. But if you've got up to a 2,000 square feet of floor plan, then you can get all of that cleaned in a single charge. And what's great is the vacuum cycle is a lot quieter than I expected, certainly quieter than other robot vacuum cleaners. In fact, on the lower setting, it's definitely no louder than a refrigerator, which is actually something to consider as a really important feature, especially if you have pets or smaller children that can get a little nervous around these sorts of noises. The only exception to that is the self-emptying functionality. Unfortunately, that is a little louder than I would have liked. It does have a lot of power to it. It only goes on for about 5 to 10 seconds because it is giving the dustbin a good clean, emptying that out into the bag that's stored in the dock. Again, it's not going to be doing that all that often, but yeah, it is a little louder when it does that. Still a great feature though, as part of the 90-day self-cleaning option. So ultimately, who is the UNINELL UR3 actually intended to be used by? Well, I would say if you are a busy pet owner, part of a family with a multi-floor home, or just anyone really that wants some elite suction and months of automated hands-free cleaning, but without having to pay those flagship £800 plus prices. Yeah, there's a couple of things, like I say, I would have liked to have seen different here. For example, having a more powerful mop or a little bit of a quieter self-emptying feature. But honestly, considering what we do get, those are really small niggles rather than something that would put me off using this vacuum. I think it could be a great choice for many different situations. Well folks, hopefully this video review has been helpful to you. Let me know your thoughts down below, especially if you've used the UR3 yourself. I'll be interested in hearing your experiences with it. But thank you for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.